Hank, let's
It's
talk
fine.
about Ocean's 8.
Yeah.
All right. Directed by Gary Ross. Now, listen, I was looking at Gary Ross's history,
Mm.
and maybe I'm a fan of this guy.
Are you?
I don't know. I mostly
He's-
like his stuff.
Yeah, he's one of those weird directors where he has no style.
No, none whatsoever.
No, but like, here, let me pull him up here real quick.
All right,
But
let's go through his
just-
career.
Right, we might have done this when we did Hunger Games, but who cares?
But,
all right, so we're just gonna.
he got to start as a writer, okay?
Oh, all right, that's fine. That's fair.
He
yeah.
wrote Big. That,
All right,
that was
so-
his first.
So thumbs up or thumbs down or?
on Big?
Yeah, are we going good, great, or?
Oh,
that?
sure, why not? That's fucking great and holds up like gangbusters.
All right, I'll go with you on that. I haven't seen it in a very long time, but okay, great.
All right. After Big, he follows that up with the script for the Tom Selleck classic, Mr. Baseball.
Saw it in the theater.
Of course he did.
I was 13. I believe I liked it very much then.
No, it's bad. I mean,
I am
it's,
sure that it is.
You know, it's got a lot of great Japanese jokes,
Sure.
but, you know.
Let me guess, is he too tall for most of the
Oh,
things?
you better believe it. All right,
Okay.
after Mr. Baseball, he writes the script to the Ivan Reitman movie Dave.
Love it.
That's good.
One of my favorite comedies. Love it.
That's insane.
I love it.
Gary Ross wrote one of your favorite comedies. Hey, it was nominated for an Oscar, Gary Ross.
Dave was?
Yeah, best screenplay.
Well, there you go.
How about that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Followed that up with the script to the movie remake of Lassie.
Didn't see it.
I saw it.
so with
I saw it in
Dave-
theaters because I was like 8.
Oh, really? Okay, so
Yeah.
we didn't do good, great, or bad with Dave.
I
or
did. I
Lassie.
said good. You got to keep up.
I said great for Dave. You said Lassie. Neither of us have seen.
I saw it in theaters.
Oh yeah. When you were a kid, and
You don't listen to me.
no, because I'm looking at his thing. I'm sorry.
It's bad. All right.
Okay. Oh, okay. Even at the time, huh?
Yeah. I was like 8 already. I was over it, you know?
Grew up fast. This
Yeah. I mean, it was 1994. I was already seeing Clerks.
one. Yep. Christ. All right.
So, he after Lassie, he gets his directorial debut. All right, and he makes himself a movie with a member of the Pussy Posse called Pleasantville.
Good.
It is good.
I realize right now that I have seen every one of his movies, written and or directed,
There's one I haven't
in the
seen.
theater.
That's
in the
crazy.
theater.
You haven't seen Lassie?
No, besides Lassie, I've seen everything in the theater.
All right. Well, we'll talk about it. Pleasantville.
Pleasantville's good. Overrated as hell.
I don't know if it is anymore. I think it was at the time,
Oh,
but
it
like
was
nobody
huge at the
talks
time.
about it anymore.
Yeah, it was huge at the time.
Yeah. Nominated for
Okay.
3 Oscars.
Nuts.
Yeah. He follows that up with Seabiscuit.
Good.
It's good, but 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Oh, I don't remember. I saw it in the theater. I remember thought it was a good movie. Yeah,
Pretty
never
good.
saw-
Nominated
never
for
saw it again.
7 Oscars,
Well, that's why this guy keeps
including
getting
for
business.
writing
Yeah. Okay.
and Best Picture. So
All right.
he got himself 2 nominations.
Look at him.
All right, Gary Ross, he's a decorated man.
He's no joke.
He doesn't direct anything for a long time, but he pays the bills by producing and writing the mouse cartoon, The Tale of Despero.
I remember when that came out.
Yeah, me too. I didn't see it.
Neither did I.
Okay. Follows that up big time with the first Hunger Games movie.
Well, I don't remember what we said on the show.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, I think I did give it a glowing review. I think.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
the
like I
first.
said, I think Catching Fire is better, but
yeah, I think I thought that too. But
it's real good.
Okay. Yeah.
all right. He followed that up with a movie I skipped
I saw it in theaters and liked it a lot.
called Free State of Jones. Also 2 hours and 20 minutes. His movies, I got to tell you, thankfully Ocean's 8 is pretty brief because his movies tend to be too long.
Yeah. I like the free.
Hunger Games is 2 hours and 20. That's like his standard length.
He's like an Edward Zwick without the ambition.
Sort of like Scott Cooper.
And I don't know what you mean by that. Oh, quick aside.
Yeah.
As per the text you sent me, listeners will probably like this. They've been following our ongoing talk about the best movies of last year.
This afternoon, when I should have been doing the franchise update, I watched Henry's number 2 film of 2017, Hostiles.
Mm-hmm. And?
Fucking boring.
I knew you were gonna
It
say that.
sucks. That guy sucks.
Wow. Fucking boring, and it sucks.
It does suck.
Okay.
Listen,
I'm not even going to touch
okay,
it, man.
No. Listen. It's a 2. It's beautiful. Great cinematography. Good score. All right? Bale's good.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Rosamund Pike is good.
Mm-hmm.
The movie is a slog. It is fucking grim and gritty, and it's dark and boring. Like, I read the plot on Wikipedia after I watched it, and it's like you could have chopped 45 minutes off of this movie.
Wow. Strong disagreement.
Well, of course.
Yeah, you're just man. I disagree.
But I keep wanting to like these movies for you.
No, I know you do. But look, man, you're out on Scott Cooper.
I'm out. I think I gotta
guy.
skip the next one.
You should, because if you didn't like this, I mean, this was your last. As a fan, I would say it's your last hurrah, because I haven't liked. What has he done? 4, and I mean, I think he's done 2 greats, a good, and a bad.
Listen, Scott Cooper, you love him. He got to start with Crazy Heart, which I thought was fine. He followed that up with Out of the Furnace, which I thought was outright bad, and you love.
Yep.
He followed that up with Black Mass, which I thought was outright bad.
So did I.
Yeah, you were in on that one. And then
Yeah.
Hostiles, which I think is bad.
Okay.
He sucks.
Okay.
His next movie is Antlers. Have you
don't-
heard about this?
No.
A young teacher discovers that her troubled student's father and younger brother harbor a deadly supernatural secret. He's taken into the realm of fantasy. Taking the boy into her care, the teacher must fight for their survival against horrors beyond imagination. All right?
Is he doing it with Guillermo del Toro?
No cast yet. He's not writing it,
Okay.
but that's what's coming.
Well, I'll be seeing it.
Yeah,
You will not.
you'll be loving it.
I don't know if I'll be loving it. I'll be seeing it.
All right.
He is not an unimpeachable director, but as proven, I don't have the loyalty that I do for like a Fincher, where I kind of make excuses.
You do, yeah.
I'm not doing that with Cooper. I
No,
genuinely.
you didn't like Black Mass, I know.
No.
All right, but that's
Okay.
Hostiles. So Gary Ross co-wrote Ocean's 8 with a partner, Olivia Milch, probably best known as David Milch's daughter.
Oh, that doesn't mean anything to me.
Well, David Milch is one of the greatest TV writers of all time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he got his start back on like NYPD Blue, and went on to create Deadwood.
Oh, okay.
He's an incredible man, and here she is, his daughter, making her way in the world.
Hereditary.
Her directorial debut, Dude, just debuted on Netflix. I ignored it entirely, and and here she is with a writing credit on Ocean's 8.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
I also can get. I'm not going to guess, but you had said earlier who your MVP was. I think I know who your LVP was.
I haven't even thought about it, so let's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll start
Okay.
talking.
I have a hard MVP and a hard LVP.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Also,
okay,
Sandra
we'll-
Bullock was in this movie, so something else was hard too. Hank loves Sandra Bullock. We'll talk about it in a second. Okay. This movie was released just this past Friday, June 8th, 2018. A budget of $70 million. Low.
Most of that was probably for preparation and parking tickets to work in Central Park West.
Yeah, and probably a lot of cast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So far, it had a pretty strong opening weekend. Made 41.5 million domestic.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, impressive. It's gonna be a hit.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
hmm
Okay.
I don't know about a hit where we're gonna see like fucking new
Right.
Lady Ocean's movies every 3 years, but
Well,
it's,
they already said there's going to be 9 and 10. I thought. So
well, if all goes well.
right.
But so far so good.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Henry,
Yeah.
I've updated my 2018 list.
Oh Jesus. Yeah. Well, you go right ahead. I'll sit back and listen.
I've seen a lot of movies.
I know.
All right, Henry,
Let's hear it.
a lot is coming off the list because there's 5 editions since the last time we did this.
I guess I could have done this too because I have seen some stuff, but I have no order. So we'll just enjoy yours. Yeah. Go ahead.
Are you angry with me for doing
No, not at all.
Okay.
I'm jealous.
Okay.
Yeah. Next time we do a movie that we go to the theater for, I will make one and then.
All right, next week.
Yeah. Oh right.
Yeah.
Shit. Okay, fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah. Go ahead.
Number 10 is Black Panther.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've seen a lot of movies now, right? How many movies do you think you've seen if you had to estimate this
In
year?
2018?
Like 25 movies?
Yeah, probably something like that.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
All right.
Number
Okay.
9 is A Quiet Place.
Yeah. Well, I've seen both of those.
Yep.
Yeah, great.
Number 8 is Annihilation.
Yeah, gotta see that. Is that on DVD yet?
I have no idea. I think it is. I think I saw it at Best Buy. I had to go in there to buy a charger
I'm
recently.
putting it on the queue.
Yeah.
All right.
Number 7 is Flower.
I remember you talking about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was number 1 on a previous version of this list.
Oh.
Number 6, in addition to the list, is The Tale.
The Tale. What was that again?
Now, that just debuted on HBO, but it was made for theaters. It's Laura Dern, and it's a
Oh, yeah.
child molestation film.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. You'll be
But it's
loving that.
It's a good. Ugh. That's
It's a fucking great movie.
Such a terrible subject.
Yeah, it's
on.
tough to watch. It's not like a funny child molestation film, but it's great, and it's written and directed by this lady Jennifer Fox, and it's like all her own experience.
Oh, okay.
Um,
See, I totally thought that was an HBO thing.
No, it's a real movie. It debuted at the festivals and shit, and HBO bought it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and yeah, fucking great. Laura Dern, Jason Ritter. Okay.
That's cool.
Number 5, here it is, just debuted on Netflix. It is Lynn Shelton's new film, Outside In, starring Jay Duplass and Edie Falco.
Oh, all right.
That's right. So there you have it, number 5. Number 4, You Were Never Really Here, with Joaquin Phoenix. What's her face movie? Lynn Ramsey.
Oh wait. Okay. Was that in theaters? You saw that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that was what number? Can you say that, please, again?
Number 4,
Oh well. Can you go back to number 5 real quick?
Outside In.
Heavy hitters.
Oh, thank you.
It's the grand slams, the slap shots, the three-pointers, the touchdowns, the curling when the puck gets close to the circle. These are the heavy hitters of the franchise. Heavy hitters.
Okay.
That's right, heavy hitters. All right. Number 3, Unsane. I'm telling you, this Soderbergh
Wow.
movie is great.
I can't wait.
All right. Number 2, Henry. A movie I saw directly before Ocean's 8.
Oh.
And it took me about the first half hour of Ocean's 8 to sort of unclench.
Jeez.
Here it is. Hereditary.
Oh, I saw trailers for that, man. That was like the talk of the town.
Instant classic.
Is that right?
Oh, baby. Perfect movie. Every frame of it. 2 hours and 7 minutes of perfection. And
wow.
It's got Toni Collette in the performance of a lifetime. I think the best she's ever been in anything. And listen, it got a D+ cinema score, so you know it's good.
It got a what?
a D+ on the Cinema Score rating.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just a straight up horror movie, right?
Well, yes and no. I mean, yeah, it's scary,
Right. Yeah.
but
No,
it's sort of.
You're always good
it's
at not spoiling anything. but
like
yeah.
anything I've seen, really. It's don't read a single thing.
I won't. But
And they did a great job with the marketing. I'll say that. Like everything in the trailers from the first fucking 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I saw it. I mean, I think I've only seen that trailer like twice, but both times it creeped me the hell out. So, yeah. All right.
Okay. Number 1 movie. And this, Henry, I'm going to say it right now, has a chance at being my number 1 movie at the end of the year.
Okay.
It's the best movie I've seen since Phantom Thread. It is, I've told you about this, but I haven't mentioned it on the show yet.
Yes,
It's
right.
Paul Schrader's new film, First Reformed,
Right.
with Ethan Hawke and Mamma Mia 2 star Amanda Seyfried. And weirdly, Cedric the Entertainer.
Oh, okay.
So there you have it. First Reformed, the best. My early pick for best movie of 2018. The movie most likely to upset me when it loses at the Oscars to Bradley Cooper's A Star Is Born.
Well, First Reformed, do you think it'll even make it that far? You think it'll...
I really think it's that good that
I
it
believe
has
you,
a
but-
shot at being in the conversation at the end of the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All depends on Paul Schrader's relationship to Hollywood.
It's a very good point.
That's all how it is. Yep.
Yeah. Because being ornery and brilliant in Hollywood in 2018 is
Strike
not as
one.
bad as having pissed on a 13-year-old. he gets best director.
Yeah. Who are you talking about?
Polanski. Did he not piss? I think I'm getting Roman Polanski confused with R. Kelly.
I think you are too. I was like, R. Kelly directed a Best
But
Picture?
it was a rape. It was a rape. Well, hey, weirder things have happened. This past year, we gave Kobe Bryant an Oscar.
That's
And
true.
he's a flat-out rapist.
That's right. Wow. Yeah.
Let's talk about Ocean's 8. We're bound to be annoying some people. It's 43 minutes deep. All right. So I my experience going to Ocean's 8, I saw it before you actually on Friday.
Yeah.
I went to the theater very early in the day, bought a ticket to see Deadpool 2, saw that, didn't like it, snuck into Adrift.
Adrift. Okay. Yeah. Wow. How is that?
I wanted to see Upgrade, but I couldn't make it work.
Okay.
So I saw Adrift.
Mm-hmm.
With,
What kind of drift was it?
It
Like
was
downwind? or-
Shailene Woodley and no bra the whole movie. And sorry. Listen, it's one of these I'm out on the water movies. It's a
Yeah.
shit happens. I've been calling it All Is Lit because it's like All Is Lost, but with like hot people.
Okay.
And it's pretty bad.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
It had a twist I didn't see coming. I mean, I kind of did towards the end, but whatever. Adrift. Then snuck into Hereditary, and I got to admit, got to Ocean's 8 late.
Oh, really?
Okay. I didn't think that would happen, but Ocean's 8 was playing in the Dolby Theater. Dolby. Dolby. All right? Never been in there before.
Lou Dolby.
Okay?
Yeah.
The Dolby Theater. I get in there. It's crazy. So it's at the tail end of the parole board scene, which I assume was the first scene of the movie.
I believe it was. Yeah.
Okay, so I just missed the first scene.
That's too bad.
I get in there. It's pretty light, not a lot of people. The seats are recliners.
Oh.
All right? I sit down in one. It does not recline. It's broken. But then, about a good 40 minutes into the movie, some girls come in and say, "Hey, you're in our seats."
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. So I got up,
Oh,
went
God.
to the back row. One of the handicap seats was open.
Naturally. Yeah.
Sat in there. That recliner worked. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Got to rest those legs.
Right.
And
I don't really understand why they have handicap recliners because handicapped people can't make it into the movies in the first place. So
well,
why,
I think
why
it's
have
for.
seats?
I think it's for the. They can make it into. What are you talking about? It's for like the people who roll them in. They get the recliners, and then there's little spaces next to the recliners for the wheelchairs.
Oh, dude, you should have just faked the limp, man. We talked about this one other time, you know?
Well, I couldn't because I wasn't buying tickets to this movie. This is the
Right.
fourth movie I saw in that day.
No, I mean, you just whilst you're walking to the handicap section.
Oh,
you
well,
just-
it was like the middle of the movie because these girls showed up 40 minutes
Right.
late.
Of course.
All right? So
Hey,
I watched.
you're in our seats.
They were nice about it. It was a lesbian couple, actually.
Okay.
And so I sat in the handicap recliner
Mhm.
for the rest of the movie. Enjoyed myself. It was a much nicer seat, and you know,
So it worked out.
it worked out okay. And I will say the theater was entirely women.
Yeah, my theater was a lot of women too. Maybe almost entirely women. I didn't really pay attention, but I think you're right. I think mine was the same way. I had the usual experience, the good kind, where I had a couple rows to myself.
Yeah.
No real dramatic experiences. So you still have the ongoing stretch of the rough patch of
Well,
cinema going. Yeah.
I sure do hate the movie theater. I mean, I didn't talk about my experiences going to see the rest of the movies.
Right.
Deadpool 2, there was a baby in the theater, so that was great. Yeah.
Jesus.
Hereditary, there was a couple next to me that I think the movie got too confusing for them halfway through, so there was a lot of phone checking. Did not dim that light on the phone. All right. And a couple people walked out midway in frustration.
All right.
It's that kind of movie.
Kind of like when I saw Mother.
Yeah. It's like that. And then Adrift went pretty well. No one was there.
A baby in Deadpool 2.
Yeah. And I'll say the baby was pretty good. Like for a baby in the theater, I only heard it a couple times.
I'd like to
wait,
give
I
it-
lied. In Adrift, there was somebody sleeping and snoring.
I would like to give a special shout out to the special parents that bring babies to the movies. Fuck you.
Yep.
And
Shout out to
I-
the baby that was in Scream 4 when I saw that in theaters opening day. That should be 7 today. Hope it's doing well.
I really just want to have everyone's tubes tied. I mean, Jesus. Oh,
Yep.
disgraceful. Oh, God.
They should be banned. All right. So Ocean's 8 opens. I mean, I didn't see the open, but it's a parole board hearing. Who played the parole officer? I didn't see that character.
As I recall, you don't see them. You just see Sandra Bullock.
Oh,
They
it's-
don't show you who's talking to her.
Oh, well, that's
You
kind
see
of like the original Oceans.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if they showed Danny Ocean's profile. I don't think they do.
No.
Yeah.
It's just a close up of Sandra Bullock. I will say Sandra Bullock kind of aging into a late period Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I know.
You're agreeing.
Yeah, I know.
Henry,
It seems like post Gravity, she's worried about gravity, and she's getting worked. She doesn't need it, man. I don't know.
she
I
looks
don't
like she's had a lot of work done, and her hair is just pin straight and black. It looks like a wig. And
best she looked
she's
in the movie was when
crazy
she had
pale.
the blonde wig on. I
Yeah,
thought.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great part. So
Well, we're in it
this
now.
is our first time covering Sandra Bullock on the show, Henry, and you are a lifelong fan of Sandy B.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Well, I got to be honest with you. I always had a little crush on her, but I kind of didn't really fall really in love with her till this is kind of astonishing, but till I saw Gravity.
2013.
No, because if you recall, dude, like when we were working at the store.
Hey,
we first met-
by the way, the Ocean siblings together in that movie,
the Ocean's siblings,
right? Because she's playing Danny Ocean's sister in this
Right.
movie, and
Yeah.
the only two characters in that fucking movie are Sandra Bullock and George Clooney.
What do you mean the only two characters
In
the movie?
fucking Gravity, you dumbass!
Oh, good point. Sure.
Thanks.
Okay. Some camera obscura there. I always liked her. I thought she was always very cute and beautiful and funny. Always made pretty horrible movies.
Yeah, I noticed you haven't said anything about her acting yet. It's all
No, I
about
like
her
her act-
looks. And
No. I like her acting in Speed. I like her in
Blind Spot?
Demolition Man.
so her
I-
early work. You're a fan of Love Potion number 9.
I love her in Love Potion
Yeah.
number 9. Love her. When I saw her in Gravity, I just really loved that movie, and I just loved her in it. I thought she really, really commanded the screen very well, and that was post, fucking Blindside and all that stuff. When people were like, oh, she's and Crash. I didn't care about her in that, so it was a late blooming crush for me. And I really thought she was very funny in The Heat.
Yeah, right. I remember you liked that movie.
Yeah.
What'd you think of her, like in her big period of rom-coms, late 90s, while you were sleeping?
Ignored
Two
all
If
of it.
by Sea, 28 Days.
Ignored all of it. Oh, I saw 28 Days.
I saw
That was
all
terrible.
those fucking movies, dude.
No, they're terrible.
She was big because Speed. I loved Speed.
So did I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miss Congeniality. We could cover it.
Yeah, we I wish we wouldn't, but we could. Yeah.
Armed and Fabulous. That's got to
yeah.
be coming for a sequel, right?
There was a critic, and this is like everywhere about her now, unfortunately, but it's true. I can't remember who said it. It's a famous critic. It's not Ebert, but it's somebody who said she's beautiful, she's charming, she's funny, which you wouldn't agree with. She's all of it, but she keeps making rotten movie after rotten movie after rotten movie.
What's a good movie post 1995 that isn't Gravity? That's a good movie with Sandra Bullock in it.
I gotta put my thinking cap on here. You speak for a minute, and I'm gonna look.
I just honestly don't know. I'm not a fan of Sandra
Yeah,
Bullock.
tell me.
I just think she's a little harsh. I don't find her likable. You put her in a
You don't find her like-
you put her in a comedy, she overacts to the high heavens. You put her in a drama, she shows no nuance whatsoever. I just can't take it. Like, I can't sit through something like The Lake House or The Proposal, but then I'll go see her in something like Our Brand is Crisis.
Yeah, which I didn't see.
Or whatever, and she just sucks. She's okay in like the occasional rom-com. I could fuck with While You Were Sleeping. I could fuck with 2 Weeks Notice with Hugh Grant.
Ooh,
But like,
I remember liking her in the.
but for
Net
every
one
one of
time.
those, there's like Practical Magic or Hope Floats or Forces of Nature. She's just been in so many dreadful fucking movies.
I agree. I liked her in A Time to Kill.
Yeah, but she sucks. And like, there was that
Just-
period, A Time to Kill less so, but then there's like Murder by Numbers, where she was like sort of
She's good in
making,
that.
she's like making Ashley Judd movies, but not as good.
Yeah, I'm looking at her filmography. There's not much to talk about. Yeah, I just like her. I find her, and I think she's like a cool person, and she just seems very
She's a cool person.
to me.
What's the evidence of Sandra Bullock being a cool person? She was married to Jesse James.
I just like her, man. I don't know. I just like her. She's not my favorite actress of all time. She's not the
I
best actress
I
of all
think
time,
we were sick of her. I think as a nation we were done with Sandy B. And then she got cheated on by that dude, and she came back in our good graces. I think she's a real Jennifer Aniston, where she's not bad, but like, what has she ever really done?
I'll take her over Jennifer Aniston.
I don't think I even would,
No,
because
please.
at least I like Friends.
Yeah, you do. No, I like her. I think she's very appealing. So even when she's in something terrible, I always think she's very watchable.
All right.
That's just that would be probably the best way.
I'll say I don't think she tears down this movie. That Ocean's 8. That said, I mean, her co-lead is Kate Blanchett, who is just like 1,000 times better.
Well, yeah. So here's the thing. Here's my main problem with this movie. And it would not escape me the entire time, and it was easier to pick my LVP this way as well. So it was co-written by Gary Ross, right, and directed by Gary Ross, and quite frankly, the entire movie, one thing just kept going through my head, and that was that Soderbergh either executive produced it or produced it. I'm not sure.
In name only, my friend.
Okay, so he had very little to do with
Yeah.
it. I wanted him behind the seat.
It's a cover. It's a
the
cover
whole
version of the
difference.
Ocean's trilogy.
Yeah, but that made the whole entire difference. I didn't think it was all in the pacing, and it was all glaringly
a little off.
lacking. Yeah, lacking style at all. I mean, he has none. And you can't pick Gary Ross to do a movie like this. It's just not going to work. And I blame him for the delivery of the dialogue, because the dialogue isn't very good either. I mean, there are lines that you can see that everyone in this cast, in my opinion,
I don't think you're blaming Gary Ross for the dialogue.
I am.
I'm blaming the fucking performances, because
I'm
there
not.
is some legit dialogue in this movie, especially between Sandra Bullock and Kate Blanchett, that if you give the same dialogue to fucking Pitt and Clooney, it'll sound good.
But Pitt and Clooney are also aided by a fantastic director with superb timing. And that includes the editing and the framing and where the camera's set up and the lighting, and all of it's just wrong. I mean, I just thought that I didn't think anyone could have
But
delivered.
Sandra Bullock is an extraordinarily hands-on executive producer, and she is producing this movie.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard over the
But
years.
she didn't direct it.
No.
I mean,
All right.
I mean,
look,
and and honestly, I'll give you this about her in this movie. I was disappointed because I was thinking about The Heat, and she looks in that movie like she's having a hell of a fun time. Like, she just looks like she's having a good time. She doesn't. She looks very
Paul Feig
bored.
just shoots tons and tons of takes where they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, well, they should have done that with this, because
they shouldn't. It's a tighter movie than that.
Yeah. But all I mean is, since he doesn't have the style of Soderbergh, it might have behooved him to try some of that improvisation or something, because
not make it like a Soderbergh movie. Because here's my real problem with this movie is that it's a fucking Ocean's movie. Because it took me a while to get into it. I was pretty down on Ocean's 8 at first, and I think part of it was just the fact that I'm going to see an Ocean's movie, and it starts off right away. She's Danny Ocean's sister. We go to visit Danny's grave, because apparently George Clooney's character may or may not be dead at this point.
Right.
We get an obligatory cameo from the original cast. It's Elliot Gould. So he's alive, and it's just like, what the fuck, man? I just don't care. Like, this doesn't feel like an Ocean's movie.
But that's because of the lack of panache. It just has none.
I agree, but once the rest of the cast showed up and the movie got a little bit more playful, and I feel like if I had if this was totally ignored as a franchise movie, and I understand why it's an Ocean's movie, it wouldn't have made $40 million this weekend without the Ocean's name.
That's true.
If this was just a heist movie starring 8 women,
yeah,
I think I could have gotten into this.
You could be right. Yeah, the shadow of Ocean's 11 looms large, and I think I even had the thought during it. Now I don't know what your opinion on this is. I was wondering, because I was trying to think, like, well, I had and I still believe this. I have no problem blaming Gary Ross, but I was thinking, like, okay, so what if you had 8 other actresses? And then I was like, well, no, that's not the problem. I mean, you got Sarah Paulson, and
no one in
Bonham
the cast
Carter
was glaringly bad.
Right. And so, but I was trying to think, like, okay, what if you substituted her for her and her for her? No, it wouldn't matter, man, because you'd still have the same staid, banal style going on there. And that's what kind of kills it for me. And I had an okay time. I wasn't miserable by any stretch of the imagination. And I wanted to separate it from Soderbergh, but it's very hard. And I agree with you. If it was just a heist movie, you wouldn't even. I mean, if this wasn't called Ocean's 8,
well, that's what I'm saying.
No, but I mean, I know. But what I was going to go further and say, if it wasn't called Ocean's 8, and you just took a few references of the movie out, you could probably keep the same movie. And you'd never guess. You'd probably never even think, like, oh, this is kind of like Ocean's 11. You probably wouldn't even guess. It's that different in tone and everything. I don't know. Everything just falls flat. Like, there's some jokes that happen, and then, like, the camera waits, almost as if there's canned laughter that's supposed to occur. That happened a few times, and I felt sorry for the actresses. Like, especially seems to happen a lot in the movie to Helena Bonham Carter.
I was going to say Mindy Kaling.
Her too.
Yeah.
And it's just like they're trying, man. And by the way, if you want to talk about a crush I've had for forever.
Mindy Kaling.
No. She hasn't been around that long.
I was joking.
I don't know. Oh, you got me for once.
Yeah.
There you go. Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah, I mean,
I've been in love with her since I was a kid.
I'm so glad she's been deburdened, and she's an MVP contender in this movie. I think she's really good.
She is really good. She's not mine, but
here,
really good.
I'm going to just go out and say this, Hank.
Yeah.
I think I liked this more than you.
Well, my star rating.
I'm not giving my star rating yet. I
all right. Well, then I won't give mine.
I think it ultimately coalesces once they're together and they're doing the heist.
I agree.
All right.
Once they get to the Met, things start rolling.
I think the cast has pretty good chemistry. I would absolutely, if I saw this not for the podcast, like if this was like its own movie, not an Ocean's movie, and I just saw it randomly, I absolutely would see a sequel with this cast.
That's interesting. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Some of them are better than others, but ultimately it moved along pretty swiftly. When it ended, I felt like I could have gone another, a little while with the movie. Like, it didn't wear out its welcome.
Right. I agree with that. One of the main things that I was disappointed in was that I think that they did have these interesting characters, but what they didn't do, which they might as well have just done, was the great little intros for each character. There's a couple.
Hold on. They did that.
Not very much, though.
They absolutely did that, and I thought the intros were effective.
I did not as much as they could have been, given the caliber of people with the Cate Blanchetts and the
Well, Cate Blanchett
Helena
doesn't
Bonham
really
Carter.
get in introduction. She's just like Sandra Bullock's best friend and partner in crime. But everyone else pretty much does. We meet what's her face in her house, Sarah Paulson.
Yeah, again, you're right. I guess it just comes I liked Awkwafina's intro.
Helena Bonham Carter at the airport. There's Rihanna testing their security. There's
but it's just done again.
Awkwafina with that fucking card game.
which could have been a great scene.
I thought it was pretty good.
Bad direction, boring.
It's not
Yeah.
boring. This
Yeah.
movie is light on its fucking feet, man.
Yeah, it is. It is. I just thought it was poorly directed. That's all.
I didn't think it was that badly directed. It's just,
But I don't.
it's badly directed if at every second you're watching this movie, you're comparing this to Steven Soderbergh, who's
Well,
one of the greatest filmmakers of all time.
Right. But it was just hard to. But it wasn't just that. It was just for me. It was also just a lot of the jokes and a lot of the dialogue. Like it just fell flat. And you know, aside from the actors or the writing, I don't know who else to throw that on, because I think the act, like as I said previously, I think they're all capable.
I
doing
don't think it's a matter of blaming anybody. I just think like the cast they put together and the script and the director, they came up with the version of this movie that they were capable of making, which is at best pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, and so
Well-
once like I was like a half hour deep into this movie, and I was able to like stop thinking about fucking George Clooney at all times, I
Right.
started to enjoy myself and had a fun time watching this movie.
As did I.
But like to me,
it's
like
just-
I chuckled a few times. Like the heist it was fun to watch, and
I agree.
like there was no real dead weight in the cast. So like no matter who was on screen, like it's not like I was like waiting for them to get back to someone else.
Did you think
With the
that?
maybe exception of Sandra Bullock.
I was just gonna say. I mean,
Yeah.
that's who I pretty much
She's
thought
the
you'd give your
worst.
LVP to.
She's the worst of the 8.
Mhm.
But she's not my LVP.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she has a big job to carry this whole thing, and I mean, I think she does a good job, but she just doesn't look like she's very happy. And it doesn't have that. And you say
I totally
you say
disagree.
it's light on its feet, but it didn't seem to me like she was very,
I think this seems like a project that Sandra Bullock is very passionate about, but she's playing a character in the movie, and she's seen the other Ocean's movies, and she gets the feeling that Danny is she has to be the leader. So
Right.
it's like the fucking Ninja Turtles. Like, yeah, Leonardo's not the fun one because he's the leader.
That's interesting take.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So you're actually giving her a little credit.
I think she's playing the role as written.
Okay.
I don't think Sandra Bullock is a good actor, but I think she's playing the role in this movie as
Very,
written.
very funny, because I think she is a good actor, and I just didn't think in this she was, I thought she was very fine. I couldn't really think of someone else doing a better job, but
No.
no. Could you in that role as it was written?
Yeah.
Okay.
Amy Adams.
She-
Jessica Chastain.
Not too much gravitas.
Meryl Streep.
Oh Jesus! Please.
Well, listen, they're aiming for like big actors in this movie.
Enough with the Meryl Streep. Ugh.
I'm excited for Big Little Lies too, bro.
I never saw the first one. Yeah, but no, we're having a good debate here. That's what this show is, people. It's like NPR for funny people.
No, it's a comedy podcast, but
Right.
I mean,
That's what I meant. But I'm betraying, a sort of a false, almost a devil's advocate type thing, because I did like the movie. I thought it was on the positive side. I thought it was fun. I thought it was cute. I thought it was, in a good way. I thought it was trite. The heist itself, I think, really picked up steam when you are told at the end what the real heist was.
it's got one of those like false things, like let's rewind a little bit and see what really happened.
And I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, me too.
No, that's going to happen. I didn't predict what
Yeah,
it was going
I
to
mean,
be, and it was nice to see Yen.
It's spoilers for the movie, but like you should know that already. But yeah, Anne Hathaway, who is like the mark, they're trying to steal this like ridiculously expensive necklace off her neck at the Met Ball. She is in on the thing, and so I thought that mostly worked for me. And when Anne Hathaway first showed up in this movie, she's playing like a really outsized caricature of like an Anne Hathaway type.
Right.
And I thought she was really bad in her first couple scenes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think Anne Hathaway maybe not so good at comedy.
That's
But,
interesting. Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
think that.
Well, I know she was a great host of the Oscars that one year.
That was the
Everyone
best.
remembers that.
That was the best.
Yeah. My favorite Oscars host.
So good.
Yeah. Better
and
than Billy
Frank-
Crystal.
Her and Franco.
Yeah. So, but ultimately, I ended up liking her in this movie because Anne Hathaway's a good actress.
She's my MVP.
Is she? Yeah, she's not mine, but I thought she was really good. And, it's hard for me sometimes because not the nicest person in the world when I met her. But
And she was when I met her. Remember that? Yeah, you had a bad Hathaway experience. I had a great Hathaway experience.
did she deign to speak to you?
Oh, very much so.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah? I had to go through. She would stand in front of me with her assistant, whisper something into her assistant's ear directly in front of me, and then the assistant would say it to me.
That's bad.
And then I would respond to Anne Hathaway, and she would whisper to the assistant the response.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Boy, wonder if she was in character for a role.
So she's kind of a feckless C, but she
wasn't like that with me at all.
But she is great. Like I love Anne Hathaway as an actress.
Rachel getting married is fantastic. She's
I
great
love her in
that.
so many things. Brokeback Mountain,
Yeah, right.
and fucking whatever. But
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
yeah.
Well, she's my MVP. My LVP is Gary Ross by a mile. And I want you to know that it does kind of kill me. This is how honest I'm being. It kills me to not give Sandy B an MVP.
Oh, God.
But I can't do
We'll
it.
do Speed someday.
Yeah, right. You know she's going to get it for that.
Yeah.
But I can't do it. So you should admire my
Restraint.
yes, because I went into the movie going, well, it's going to be easy.
Sandy B. All right. Listen. Other problems I had with the movie.
Yeah, your turn. You didn't really say what you didn't like too much about it. Yeah.
There's just holes, man. And part of the thing is, in general, the movie stays away from trying to have like messages. Like you worry, like Ghostbusters, the Lady Ghostbusters, which I didn't hate, but
Unseen by me.
But like it was kind of straining to like make a point. Like women can do this shit too, bro.
Sure, yeah, that's
and
tough.
And Wonder Woman did the same thing, and that's fine, but it can be, shall we say, heavy-handed.
Nothing works when they try to do something like that and it's heavy-handed. I agree with you. I didn't feel that way about Wonder Woman, though I know a lot of people did. I didn't feel that way, but I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
So there wasn't much of that in this movie, with the exception of one sequence. They're talking about should they hire a dude to be on the team.
Right.
And Sandra Bullock, I think, responds, "No, no guys, because women are ignored."
Yeah, that was a catchy. I mean, that was a noticeable line.
Yeah.
This time we want to be ignored.
And I bought into it when they first said it until a little later in the movie. Rihanna poses as a janitor to put a camera in a conference room while a meeting is going on.
Right.
And
a little noticeable.
A little, I would think that a room full of men might take notice of a janitor who looks like fucking Rihanna.
Yeah, sorry if that comes across as sexist, but I completely agree with you.
This
I
is
completely
a
agree
woman
with you.
who dumped Elon Musk.
Yeah.
So, or something like that. Rihanna's constantly with like the fucking most crazy, hot, like rich dudes ever. And she's just being a janitor in this movie. And Rihanna, she can't act, obviously, but it has charisma up the fucking butthole. And so like every time she's on screen, she just sort of like is Rihanna, and that works for me.
Right.
And she's just being Rihanna all over that scene.
Well, and to speak to your point about plot holes, just some weird throwaway lines that go nowhere, like when her little sister helps them with the magnet, and then Sandra Bullock says, where are her parents?
I
and
just thought that
like-
was a joke.
Nope. Well, okay. Either way, it didn't work because
Who's
there was like a
sister?
there's like a poor pause there, waiting for either a laugh or an uncomfortable, like, "Oh, our parents are dead."
It's not
or
a
something.
it's not a well edited movie.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's just a line that's
And,
like,
and it's noticeable maybe because I talked about how great the editor of Ocean's 11 is. But
oh, yeah, and I mean when that see, I didn't take that line as comic.
I did.
Yeah, I took it as like, ooh, that was a bad thing for Sandra Bullock's character to say, because the look Rihanna gives her is like, you know, how could you possibly go there? You know, it's just like, Jesus,
All right.
what am I watching?
Here's my other thing.
Yeah.
So the heist takes place at the Met Gala.
Mhm.
Gala, as Mindy Kaling is corrected in this
That
movie.
was actually
That was
very,
a funny line.
very funny.
Yeah.
Sarah Paulson.
Sarah Paulson, right?
I liked, by the way, that actress who corrected her. I've never seen her before, but I thought she was very funny. She only has a
who was
few
that?
lines. I don't know, the woman who gives Sarah Paulson the job in that office
Oh
building.
yeah, she was pretty good.
She was very funny. I don't know who it is, but
They
anyway,
fill
go
out
ahead.
the some of the lesser roles with
Yeah,
pretty
they
good
do.
character actors.
They do.
So fucking it takes place at the Met Gala, and the Met Gala, of course, Met Gala happened like 2 weeks ago or something.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I wasn't watching it, but so seconds into the fucking Met Gala, I was with Rachel, and she wanted to check out the fucking, like, what was going on, you know, at the Met Gala.
Yeah.
And so I Googled it for her, like the outfits of the Met Gala. And
Okay.
the thing had just started, and I found a picture gallery of 90 pictures from the Met Gala. Like everybody who had shown up, famous and not famous, and what they were wearing.
Okay.
Now, in this movie, this whole crew is going to the Met Gala in, like, disguise.
Right.
And Sandra Bullock is there. She walks down the fucking red carpet. She talks to a reporter. And you're telling me nobody's going to notice, oh, that's that master thief that just got out of prison.
Okay. Well, I mean, but it's the Met, so it's not like they'd be watching Danny Ocean in Vegas, right? I mean, nobody at the museum is going to be looking for somebody, and she's not
No.
world
It's
famous.
she is. She just got out of prison.
Right, but she's not like all over the news or anything. I mean, the only one who knows her at all is James
No. I'm
Corden's
saying
character.
the internet. What would happen is a
Oh,
picture
you're
of her
right.
would immediately
Okay.
go up on the internet. Some fucking douchebags on Twitter would be like, hey, it's that master thief. And then the Met security would be all over her.
Well, you're okay. Yeah, you're going for a lot of reality in something like this that stretches.
It
quickly.
has to be because the Met Gala is so public. It's not like just taking place at a random casino.
You're saying it would be like if they did something at the Oscars.
Yes, it is like that.
Everybody would see her, and yeah, that's interesting. I did like seeing Sandra Bullock speak German, which she does fluently, and French in real life.
Oh, yeah? I didn't know that.
I did.
Okay. Whatever. So a lot of cameos during the Met Gala. Any that you liked? Anna Wintour gets a real hero shot. We see her from behind at first, like that haircut.
Who is that? What's her name?
Anna Wintour.
I don't even.
She's
I know
like
the,
the
name.
head of Vogue.
I look, man. I only knew like two
But
cameos.
remember,
man.
there's that shot in the fucking office where like you see her from behind at first, and it circles around to her desk.
Okay, I know what you're talking about, but I didn't know who that was.
Yeah.
I figured it was somebody.
Oh,
'cause
it got a
there's lot
pop
of
from
that.
my audience.
Well,
A little clap.
you were with a lot of women.
Yeah.
So I don't know
The,
anything
the
about
audience
fashion.
seemed to really enjoy the movie. They laughed in the right spots. Maybe that's
Right.
why I didn't notice the fucking editing, because people actually were laughing.
That's very possible. I had an engaged crowd, but not that much. I mean, there was a lot of silence. So yeah, I don't know. I actually thought the Katie Holmes cameo was nice. Was pleasant.
Why? Just because you were happy to see Katie Holmes doing something?
Sure.
I
Yeah.
guess so.
She's not in a cage somewhere in a Scientology.
3
prison.
Kardashians in the movie. Excited about that.
You got. I didn't even see her in this, but when I looked at it, had to do my. My
I
count.
noticed Kim, Kendall, and Kylie.
Well, you noticed. Well, you know way more about celebrity. I'm the unhip guy here on this, man. I don't know. I mean, the people like that just go right by me. I mean, I knew Heidi Klum. That was
Yep,
like
she was around. Auf
and
Wiedersehen.
anyone over 50, I recognized.
Sure, sure.
Which, by the way, that was one cool thing I will say. Bullock and Carter and Blanchett.
Who's Carter? Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah, Bullock.
See,
Carter.
Helena Bonham Carter is like Kevin Klein. You
That's
can't
right.
do the
You
last
can't
name
just
with
do
her.
the last name.
Yeah.
Carter, Blanchett, and Bullock, and are all like in their 50s, and I thought that's cool. You know,
It
like
was
you don't
all
see
over the map.
that.
It was all over the map because
It
then
really
there's,
was
like
all over the
Sarah
map, but-
Paulson, who's got to be like 40 or something, and
Well,
then
40,
like
she's
Mindy Kaling's in her 30s, and then
Right.
Aquafina and Rihanna are young.
Right, but I like that the 3 main leads or 2 main leads are 50 cents. That's pretty cool, man. And I dug that. That you don't see that like ever, especially and to not just have an all female cast, but
I think Hollywood's gotten better at letting actresses be older.
well, that's good.
No, it is
that,
totally good.
I had talked about this not the age thing, but the woman thing when I was on Christian Toto's show. And,
Yeah.
and I think that it made me happy to see this because, I think 5-10 years ago, and I think you'd agree with me, that this movie gets made and it's starring all 20 somethings.
100%.
Yeah. So the fact that we're
In fact,
back
it
now-
did. It was called The Bling Ring.
I turned that movie off.
I didn't
Yeah.
bother trying it.
That's Sophia Coppola.
That's right. One of our
That's why I
finest
tried.
filmmakers.
But yeah. What's that?
One of our finest filmmakers.
She's made
She really
2.
earned her way to the top.
She's made 3 good films.
One.
Virgin Suicide.
That's it.
Somewhere. You didn't see it.
I'm not seeing Steven Dorff movies in 2010.
I don't blame you for that. And I like the
I just
Beguiled.
watched something with Steven Dorff in it. What was it?
I don't know.
Something from the 90s.
Blade.
No, it wasn't Blade. It was pre-Blade.
Well,
Can you remember what
He's a-
Steven Dorff movie did I
he's in a-
watch?
Well, he's in a great Bob Raffleson movie with Nicholson and Kane, but I know you didn't see it ever. I've been recommending it to you forever.
That
Blood
Dorff.
Wine, yeah.
Steven Dorff. Dorff on golf.
That's what I was just going to make that joke.
Listen, I spelled it with a V, and IMDb doesn't know what I'm talking about because it's a PH, you piece of shit. All right.
It's FF. Yeah.
Dorff, here he is. I watched a Dorff movie. This is so unnecessary. It was Cecil B. Demented, the
That
John
is
Waters
awful.
movie. It was okay.
I'm not a fan of John Waters, I got to confess.
I love John Waters. That's not one of his good movies,
that.
but
Makes sense that you are. Yeah.
it makes sense that I am. Why?
Yeah, he
because
seems-
I
seems-
like great filmmakers who make great movies.
No. Which, you do, like me.
Mhm.
But, John Waters, I just never cared for his movies. I've
Every
seen-
movie John Waters made, from Pink Flamingos through probably Pecker, is great. And
Having
that's a
said-
good run.
Having said that, he's one of the funniest fucking people I've ever seen in my life. Anytime he's interviewed I think he's great.
Yeah,
As a
that's
person.
what he is now. He's not really a filmmaker anymore. He's like just professionally John Waters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you can do when you're John Waters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What else you got?
Here's a problem with the movie. We're going for actresses in this movie, and we did a great job.
Mhm.
But
Oh, here we
but
go.
if you're gonna put dudes in the movie, also,
Mm.
can any of them be good?
Francis Dollarhide.
What?
Yeah, I didn't realize it either till it was over, and I looked him up. Richard Armitage is the date for Anne Hathaway, and the guy who gets puts Bullock in jail.
Uh huh.
Richard Armitage. He plays Francis Dollarhide in Hannibal.
Oh, that's crazy to me because I loved that.
And
But
he's great in that.
yeah, but here he is, Richard Armitage, my LVP.
That's a fair case.
This
Yeah.
guy sucks. He's ostensibly the male lead of this movie.
Sure,
He's
absolutely
given the
is.
most screen time. He is Sandra Bullock's ex, and he's set up by them. He takes the fall at the end of the movie. And this guy sucks.
Yeah, I didn't feel that strongly, but he's like the complete blank slate. Yeah, completely.
The other big male of this movie, even though he doesn't show up until the last half hour, is CBS late night host James Corden as the guy investigating them for these crimes.
Right.
And I will say, as someone who fucking hates James Corden as a host,
Mm-hmm.
Carpool Karaoke is, I mean, if Harvey Weinstein did Carpool Karaoke, I might be giving him more shit about that than about any of the other stuff he did.
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
Pretty bad. I'm not a fan either, but I thought he was good in this.
I gotta say, pretty good. Yeah,
I thought he was.
He,
I thought he
was a good
kinda
screen
funny.
presence. He was pretty funny. And what made me think of him was I thought he was very funny in the scene where he goes into Armitage's apartment.
Yes.
And there's like these two random sculptures that are just of nothing. And he said, "You have everything. Why would you steal? You even have two of those." Whatever.
Yeah.
And that made me laugh. And I thought he was a good little anchor for the last
Yeah, he was.
20
I
minutes
thought
of
he
this
was
movie.
Quite funny.
Yeah, worked
I,
for me.
I agree.
I'd want to
Yeah,
see him again in the sequel, I'd even say.
Yeah,
So
he's a good
maybe I
story.
like him more as an actor than
as
as,
an actor
a,
than
a host.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
sure, absolutely. Yeah.
So there you
Yeah.
have it, James Corden. I said
Thank-
nice things about James Corden on the record.
You have before we probably are wrapping up.
Yep.
You have really not much to say. I think you probably said it. I guess right. Counter argument, counterpoint on anything about Gary Ross's direction at all.
I mean, he's doing Soderbergh not well,
Mhm.
but he put himself together. He co-wrote the movie too. You got to give him a little credit, and it's a tight little.
Well, I acknowledge that he co-wrote the movie.
Yeah, it's a fun little heist movie, and I like heist movies, and this is not a bad one.
Agreed.
I'm giving it a 3.
So am I.
Okay.
Yeah, I had written down 3 in our talking. I was going to drop to a 2. Then I feel like I'm it's a 3. It's a 3-star movie. It's enjoyable. It's fun. It's disappointing, but then again, I didn't go into it thinking it was going to be amazing. So it's fine.
My MVP, and I probably didn't talk about her enough, is Helena Bonham Carter. I thought she was really fucking funny in this movie.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that.
But with quick little shout outs to Awkwafina, who I really think is a star in the making. I know her name is fucking Awkwafina, and it's hard to get past that, and she's a fucking YouTube personality. But I
Right.
really do think she's a star.
Very, very funny.
If not in movies, like eventually she'll like have a TV vehicle that'll be awesome. And shout out to Anne Hathaway, who was able to get past my defenses as someone who was quite offended by her in person.
Yeah.
And every time I see her, I'm like annoyed that she's in a movie, and then she's great.
Yeah, I thought she was MVP, definitely. Helena Bonham Carter was very, very great, too, though. I was really happy. And also kind of seeing her do a little riffage on her own persona as well.
Well,
Clearly.
she's been doing Tim Burton movies for so many years
Right.
that this almost came across like a parody of something Tim
Well,
Burton would have
I think
written
it was
for
a
her.
parody of that, and I think it was a parody of, and I just know this from watching the Oscars. We just talked about how I don't know anything about fashion, but for the last 25 years, she's been showing up at the Oscars wearing the weirdest shit possible, and so like that she's just kind of playing on that. That was pre-Burton. So
Yeah.
that was funny.
And I thought she the scene where she has to like get that 3D image of the thing.
That was probably my favorite scene in the
That
movie.
scene was really, really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my favorite scene in the movie. So, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, it is time. I did have Ocean's 8 has an 8 count. How about that for a little something that, I've been working on for a long time.
Oh, superhero.
And here we go. So, without further ado, Kate Blanchett was in Thor,
Yep.
and
Hella?
I'm gonna have to keep going. Yeah, it's longer, and I just I cut it off. Yeah, good call. Yeah, I think you might do well here. I'll name the actress. All right,
All right.
Kate Blanchett. That's her only. Yeah, Hela. Yeah, hella good. And that's a No Doubt reference.
Yeah, you love that weirdo too.
Gwen Stefani.
Yeah.
How'd you know that?
I think we've talked about it. I like put a No Doubt song on the Barnes and Noble playlist once, and you were like, "I fucking love No Doubt."
All right, Anne Hathaway.
She was in a superhero thing.
Yeah, you're one of your favorites of all time.
Really?
No joke.
I'm already out. I don't know.
The Dark Knight Rises,
Oh yeah, she's Catwoman.
which I forget all the time too, because
Yeah.
every time I talk about that movie, nobody ever talks about Catwoman because Bane is so awesome.
And you
all
know
that
why
shit.
else?
Because she's not that great in it.
Because I like Maggie Gyllenhaal in Dark Knight, and I miss her in
Oh.
Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, but Anne Hathaway was very good Catwoman, I thought. Okay, you'll never get
Oh,
this. but
hey, Katie Holmes, Dark Knight, or Batman Begins, right?
well done. That's
Yeah,
right.
okay.
That's three down, 5 to go. Well done.
Yeah.
Sarah Paulson. This is very
Um,
hard. Very hard. You'll never get this. This was a deep cut.
Okay, what is it?
Played a character named Ellen Dolan in the great classic movie The Spirit.
Oh God, I never would have gotten that.
Richard Armitage in a Marvel movie, playing a character named Heinz Kruger.
It's
I don't-
Captain America, Civil War,
First Avenger.
First Avenger. Well, that makes sense because there's all the flashback shit. Okay,
Right. James Corden.
He's in a
Played
superhero thing.
He will be starring in Teen Titans Go to the Movies as Balloon Man.
Yeah, I saw a trailer for that.
Did you really?
Yeah, it
Never
looked
heard of
cute. It's a cartoon. It's like I think it's like DC trying to make fun of themselves in like a Lego movie style.
Okay. Good
So
luck.
it seemed all right. Good, James Corden. Take more acting work so you don't have time to host a show anymore.
And 2 to go. I missed her in this. I guess she was on the red car. No, she was in the dinner sequence in the Met, but I missed her. Olivia Munn, another little.
I
crush
didn't
of
notice
mine.
her either.
Yeah, she's in it. She's of course Psylocke in X-Men Apocalypse.
Right, yeah.
And Dakota Fanning, who we didn't mention, had a little scene in this
With
movie.
Helena Bonham Carter.
Right, and
Mm-hmm.
she used quite a while ago, was in a cartoon Justice League Unlimited playing a young Wonder Woman.
Yeah. When she showed up, I can't tell the Fannings apart anymore. I
I
had the
not
thought,
even-
like, is this
yeah.
Elle?
I thought it was the one you mentioned earlier. I thought it was Amanda. How do you say her name? Seyfried.
Sci-Fi. I kind of thought, for a second, I
That's
thought
what
it was
I-
Chloe Moretz.
Chloe Grace. Moretz,
Chloe
full
Grace
title.
Moretz, full title. You're right. Oh, classic stuff. All right.
Yep.
Oh,
I think it's time for ranking.
of course, yeah.
I didn't do it, but there's only
You want to go
5,
5
so-
to 1 or 1 to 5?
Let's go 5 to 1.
Okay.
Worst to best.
Yeah.
Number 5. I'll go first.
Okay.
The original Ocean's 11.
Oh, right. I forgot that's on the list. That one.
Number 4.
Ocean's 8.
Ocean 8. Okay. Yeah, Ocean's 8. So we're agreement on 5 and 4.
Yeah.
This is where it'll get sticky.
Yeah.
All right. Number 3, the third best is for me Ocean's 13.
Yeah, I knew this would happen, and it's totally viable, and I'm going to go with 12, and then number 2, you're going to go with 12, and I'm going to go with 13, and the best one, bar none, is the first Soderbergh one.
That's right.
Yeah, of course.
There you go, rankings.
Uh-huh.
There you go. Yep.
But I like this movie. I really do.
Yep.
I really do think there are now 4 good Oceans movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.